So today we will start another chapter that is related to mechanical properties of solids materials, and one of the important property, that is elasticity. So elasticity. So some terms related to this particular chapter is one term is elasticity. Second is plastic. So this is related to the force applied in a body. So body made up of numbers of particles. In a rigid body we have discussed this in detail, that rigid body is that a body which shape and size is fixed, and but when we apply any force on that body, that solid body, then its shape and size, this may be changed, it is changed, or it is known as, it is deformed. So when we apply a force on a body, its shape and size may be deformed, and after removing that applied force, if its shape and size is come back to its original size, then that type of body is known as elastic body. So when, just write some lines for this. When a constant force is applied in any body, its shape and our size, both may be deformed, it is changed. After removal of force, applied force, if the body restores, means original shape पे आ जाता है, restores its initial or original shape and size, then this solid or this body is known as elastic body, and this property is known as elasticity. So here two terms we have introduced. One is the elastic body. So that body which come back to its original shape and size after removal of that applied force, then that body is known as elastic body. And this property, by virtue of which this restoring property is having, and this is known as elasticity. And also we can use that another term used here, that the force, one can also write the force applied is known as, this is known as deforming force. This is known as deforming force. Okay. Second term, this that perfect one prefix is can be added here. That is the perfect elastic body or perfect elasticity. So just write the same thing, but one additional term can be added here is, if this particular property is just happening immediately, I mean there is no time lag between changing the shape and restoring the shape. When we apply the force, its shape and size is deformed. When just remove the force, it's immediately come back to its original shape and size, then that is known as perfect elastic body, and that property is known as perfect elasticity. So the elasticity in this case, this may take some time to restore it to its original shape and size. But in perfect elasticity, it immediately come back to its original shape and size. Then that type of body is known as perfect elastic body, and that shape is that property is known as perfect elasticity. So what change we will made in this statement? When a force is applied in any body, its shape and size may be deformed. This is the same. After removal of the force, if the body restores immediately, one additional term, it's immediately, there is no time lag between this changing the shape and restoring the shape. So it restores immediately, in its original shape and size. Then this body is known as perfect, this is known as perfect elastic body, and the property is known as perfect elasticity. Simple, statement is same, just you have to add one additional term, that is the perfect. So perfect elasticity, just write down another term, and the force is deforming force, this is the same one. Okay, right, again, perfect elasticity. Okay, now next term is the plasticity. So elasticity and plasticity. So we will start same sentence from same sentence. When a force is applied in any body, its shape and size may be deformed. This is the same. But after removal of the force, if the shape and size is after the removal of force, the shape and size is not regained, or if it's a shape and size is not regained, then body is known as plastic body, and the property of the and this property of the solid or that body is known as plasticity. So when you apply the force, the shape and size of that body may be deformed. After the removal of that force, if its shape and size is not regained or restored in original shape and size, then that body is known as plastic body. And this property, by virtue of which this is happening, that property is known as plasticity. Just opposite to that elasticity and plasticity. Now the perfect plasticity. The fourth term. Elasticity, perfect elasticity, plasticity, and perfect plasticity. So when a force is applied in a body, and the shape and size of that body is deformed, and after removal of this force, even there is no tendency, वो चाहता ही नहीं है. If there is no tendency to regain removal of the force, if there is even no any tendency to regain its original, its shape or size, shape and size, then the body is known as then the body is known as perfect plastic. And behavior is, this behavior is known as perfect plasticity. The first case, there may be some tendency to regain its original shape and size, but in the case of this perfect plasticity, even there is no tendency to regain its original shape and size, then this is known as perfect plastic or perfect plasticity. This behavior is. Okay. Now, what is the reason of this particular behavior? This is explained on the basis of interatomic force. So, mechanism of this elasticity or plasticity, this is based on interatomic force. So, if this is that body, and obviously this is made up of so many atoms, and if two atoms, nearby atoms will have attraction as well as repulsion force. So, the interatomic force, this is force between two neighboring atoms. So actually that material have one equilibrium state, it's a stable state. When that force is minimum, or we also talk about that potential energy, the term potential energy is used. If this potential energy is minimum, कुछ चाहिएगा? नहीं लगेगा. So this interatomic force depends on the distance between two atoms, and that particular body, this is known as that stable body if that interatomic force between two neighboring atoms, these are a minimum, as well as its potential energy is minimum. So we can have a plot between that potential energy. So let's say this is that potential energy which is the function of R, and this is that R which is that distance between two atoms, and simultaneously we can also have a plot between the force between two atoms and this R. So this is just decreasing force, and this plot is like this. This plot is like this, and here in this particular position, which is known as that equilibrium position, represented by R naught. This is the equilibrium position where this potential energy is minimum. So this is that equilibrium position where this potential energy is minimum here. So that potential energy minimum is in this end. If that atoms, the distance between atoms, this is if equivalent to R naught, then that particular material will be stable because the potential energy is minimum. As well as far as the force is concerned, that plot will be like this. So here in this condition, there is no force applied, means the force will be zero. There is no force applied, the force will be zero, and this plot will be now like this, So what I am trying to say here, this is also R, this is this, and this position is R naught. So here at the position R naught, this potential energy is minimum, and in this potential energy, that force is zero. It's crossing that x-axis, means here this force is zero. So if there is no force, means that system will be equilibrium. When we try to deform that system, means when we are just trying to stretch, we are just
External force, yeah.
This is just force, external force. So before this, that system, there will be that repulsion force, repulsion force, and after this is the attraction force. Means what will happen if we will try to deform that system? We can deform by just stretching or pressing that system. Pressing means we are just trying to reduce this value of R. Stretching means we are just trying to increase the value of R. Means when we reduce that distance between two atoms by pressing that particular material, means there will be the repulsion in between two atoms, and if we just try to stretch that, then there will be attraction between two atoms. Means what will happen? So after reforming, after deforming by increasing that the value of R, when we remove that force because of this attraction, because the attraction force, because of this attraction, that atoms will try to come back to this equilibrium position R naught, because in this particular position that potential energy is minimum and that system is stable, and there is a tendency to each and every materials in the world, in the system, in the universe, to have a minimum potential energy. This is a requirement for the stability of the system. So if the shape and size of that body is at a particular shape and size, because it has minimum potential energy, and that equilibrium position is equivalent to R naught, if this is R naught. So force is minimum, force is zero, not minimum, force is zero, potential energy is minimum. We are trying to deform that system, means we are trying to reduce the distance between atoms, or trying to increase the distance between atoms. If we increase the distance between atoms and remove, then there will be that attraction force. This is that attraction force, and because of that attraction force, that atom will try to come back. Means after just we have stretched, just removing the force, it will come back because of this attraction force. Or we just compress, then what is happening? Its potential energy is just increasing, and that force is now a repulsive force. So after removing that force, that atom will come back. We can compare this with the spring also. If we have this type of this is that spring. This is that we just leave this spring in equilibrium, then this length is, let's say, L naught, or that R naught. Okay, when we just apply one force, its length will increase. This is that equilibrium condition without any force. Its length will increase. After removing this force, this will come back because of that attraction force, the restoring force. Or when we compress this, we will compress this with this length is less than L naught. Obviously, there will be that applied force. When we remove, because of that repulsive force, this will try to come back in the original force. So that this is known as the spring model. That solid is also considered in one model that two atoms are just attached with that such type of spring. So in some books it is given that like this. If this is that one crystal structure, so each and every atoms. So these are the atoms. These are the atoms. It is assumed that two atoms are connected with that spring. These are the spring. One can assume these atoms are connected with springs. Means in any direction we just try to stretch. If in this direction we are just trying to stretch, means we are just trying to increase the length of these springs. We are just trying to increase this R. When we leave, this will come back because of that restoring force, because of this attraction force between these atoms. So this is the mechanism of elasticity and plasticity. And there's one term further we will introduce, that is known as the elastic limit. This particular behavior, this particular property is only up to a particular limit. If we are just stretching that material, after a certain instant of time, it becomes a plastic. When that elastic behavior is at the end. भाई आप एक स्प्रिंग को एक लेवल तक उसको खींच सकते हो, ज़्यादा खींच दिए स्प्रिंग जो है अपने ओरिजिनल ऐसे रह जाता है. So this behavior is up to a particular level. After that, that spring may be broken. Okay, so that elastic behavior is a particular limit. That limit is known as elastic limit. Okay, so we will discuss that particular term in later on. And now some more terms used in this, that is known as stress and strain. So second term is stress. So this stress is actually related to that applied force. So this stress is defined as, it is defined as force per unit area. So the force per unit area, this is known as stress. So that is that can be represented as capital S. It is equal to force per unit area. So you can calculate its unit and dimension too. So the unit will be
Newton per meter square.
Yes. So the unit is Newton per meter square. Dimension, and the dimension is
ml cube.
this is ml t minus 2 by L square.
ml minus
Ah,
1
so this is
t minus 2.
Yes, so this is ml inverse t minus 2. Okay, so this stress is defined as force per unit area. This is applied force per unit area, and this is force upon area, and one can have this is Newton per meter square, and this is also equivalent to, this dimension is equivalent to pressure. Force per unit area is the pressure. Okay, so this pressure and this stress having the same dimension. So the types of stress. Types of stress. First is tensile stress. Tensile stress is when we stretch, when the system or body is stretched, its length is increased, then force per unit area is known as tensile stress. Is known as tensile stress. Second, compression. Compressional stress. The reverse of this, when we compress the system, when the body is compressed, then the force per unit area is known as compressional stress. Okay, so in a particular direction, when we stretch that system, that body, then the force per unit area is known as that tensile stress. When we compress that system or that body, then that is known as the compressional stress. And next, third one is the hydrostatic stress. The third is Third is hydrostatic stress. When the force is applied in all the direction of a body, not a particular direction, in all the direction. So when force per unit area is applied in all the direction of the system is applied in all directions, then it is known as hydrostatic stress. Fourth and the last one is shearing stress. So when the force is applied on this that surface, then in the tangential direction, then this is known as a shearing stress. When force is applied in the surface in tangential direction, tangential direction, then it is known as shearing stress. Then it is known as shearing stress. For example, if this is that body, let's say this is that body. In our direction, if we are applying the force, then this is hydrostatic stress. In a particular direction, we are applying, or we are just compressing, just we are stretching the system, then that is the first case. What is that? First is what?
Tensile.
Tensile, not tensile. It's a tensile stress. When we compress, then this is the compressional stress. And if this shearing stress is, if this is that the surface of this body, and we are applying the force here in this direction only, in the top of this body, then this is known as the shearing stress, the tangential direction, not in the complete direction. Okay, so this is that shearing stress. Okay, now let us have one more term used in this particular chapter, that is strain. So this strain is actually the ratio of change in shape or size. I should write both. Shape or size with its original shape or size is known as strain. So when we apply the force, that particular system, it is deformed. So that the change in whatever that is change in shape and size of that body, if it is compared with its original shape and size, then that change, that relative change, this is known as strain. Further, this will be classified into 3-4 parts. The first one is Pani. So just write the formula also. So strain is equal to change in dimension means shape and size upon original dimension. So what's about, it's a unit? no unit because this is just the ratio and there is no dimension. So no unit or dimension. Okay, so let us classify this also. So the types of strain. First one is longitudinal stress. Strain. Longitudinal strain. So when we just stretch or compress in a particular direction, we just want to change its length. The change in length upon its original length. So for example, if we have one string, this is that string, this is that that wall where that string is attached, when that original length is, let's say, L naught, and if we are applying force here and if its length now becomes this is L naught, now its length become L naught, this. So after applying this force F, it's we are stretching this string, then its length now becomes L. So this is the deformed state. So change in length will be L minus L naught, and one can have this is equal to delta L, small change. So this change will be delta L upon its original length, L naught. This is known as longitudinal strain. So this is the ratio of change in length with its original length, and that change of length that may be due to compression or stretching type of phenomena. So this is longitudinal strain is equal to delta L by M. तो पानी निकाल दो, एक लड़की ऐसी बना के छोड़ के चलेगी। पानी बना भी second is volumetric strain or volume strain. What is the definition? It's related to volume. Longitudinal is related to length. Volumetric, it is related to volume. So this is the ratio of change in volume, that is delta phi, with its original volume phi. So this volumetric strain, it is equivalent to delta V by V. Okay. Next is shearing. Third one is shearing strain. So in the shearing strain, we have that the shearing force or shearing stress we have when we apply that force in a surface, on the surface in a tangential direction, then its shape is changed. Okay, so let us see what is happening on that body. If this is that original body, just I am showing two-dimensional diagram here. If this is that original body, and when we apply this force, that shearing force on the top of this, its shape will be changed too. This is the fixed. This part is fixed. This part is fixed, and we are just applying the force along this particular surface. Then its shape will be changed like this. So this is now the new shape of that body. Okay. So this angular change, this is theta, and this theta is defined as equal to this change. This is equal to, let's say, delta r, and this size is let's say r. Okay, so the shearing stress is actually the change in this length and this one. Okay, so the shearing stress is the ratio of change in that इसको नाम क्या दिया जाएगा? This can be written as, this is the ratio of the relative displacement between two parallel sides and distance between them. Okay, so the displacement, how? This is fixed. When we apply this force, it is just to displace it. So this is actually that relative displacement between these two parallel sides of this body, and distance between these two is this r. Okay, so this shearing strain it is represented by delta theta or theta. This is equal to this delta r upon this r. Okay, so we have four types of that stress. One is related to that stretching and compression, that is in the longitudinal direction. Second, when we apply that force in r direction, that is the hydrostatic, and the third one in tangential direction, we are applying the force. Then there is angular change, that is known as the shearing change, shearing stress. And here strain is also classified into three parts. One in the longitudinal direction, that is toward that length. So change in length upon original length, this is known as longitudinal strain. When we want to change in the volumetric change, so change in volume upon original volume, means in all the direction, that hydrostatic type terms, and that is known as volumetric strain. And if we want to change just the shape of this body by applying the shearing force on the surface of that body by keeping fixed this its bottom side, then this is known as strain, that shearing strain. Now we have the one more term for the today's class, that is modulus of elasticity. So the modulus of elasticity, this is the ratio of stress and strain. So the modulus of elasticity it is equal to strain, this is stress upon strain, stress upon strain. So what will be the unit and dimension? The unit and dimension will be same as stress, because there is no unit and dimension of this strain. So the unit will be what, that is Newton per meter square, and the dimension is ml inverse T minus 2, just so similar to that pressure or this modulus that is stress. So now we have three physical quantities having same dimension: pressure, modulus of elasticity, as well as stress.
वेक्टर बाकी स्केलर होगा
बताओ. Having directional effect. प्रेशर क्या होता है?
वो तो टेंशन है.
Similar. Elastic behavior, this is the tensor quantity. But sometimes if we just take that area if as a scalar quantity, sometimes because the area have a particular direction normal to that surface, if it's just taking that magnitude, then sometimes we can get it's a direction. So that's why this is tensor type behavior, having tensor type behavior. So modulus of elasticity is okay. So we can classify this. So types of elasticity. First is Young's modulus. It is represented by Y. This is the ratio of, so the Young's modulus, this is represented by Y. This is the ratio of the first type of strain and the first type of stress. So the first type of stress is tensile stress. So this is the ratio of tensile stress with first type of strain is longitudinal strain with longitudinal strain. Okay, so this Y, it is equal to the tensile stress upon longitudinal strain. Second is the bulk modulus. It is represented by K. So this will be the ratio of that hydrostatic stress, because in this tensile stress we can have that both expression and compression. The second and first, the change will be length, that will be reducing or increasing. So now this K, this is the ratio of hydrostatic stress with strain कौन सा? Volumetric. So volumetric strain. And third is shear modulus R. This is rigidity. So this will be the ratio of that third component. Third one was what? That the shearing stress upon shearing strain. So this is the ratio of shearing stress with shearing strain. So it's enough for today's class. So in this class we have defined some terminology related to this particular chapter. One is elasticity, perfect elastic and perfect elasticity, plastic and plasticity, perfect plastic and plasticity, and then some terms related to strain, classification of strain, stress, classification of stress, and the ratio of these two, that is known as the modulus of elasticity, and that the classification of that elasticity in terms of that Young's modulus related to length, and the second volumetric modulus, that is bulk modulus, that is the ratio of this hydrostatic stress upon that volumetric change. And the third one is that very important thing, that is the searing modulus, are known as the compressibility or the rigidity of the system, and this is known as this is the ratio of that searing stress and searing strain. Okay, so thank you all.